Good evening, friends. Stephen and Yana Banoon here on Israeli News Live. And want to update you on a few things that we have going on. And of course, we know this is Resurrection Day, so blessings to all of you during this time. There's been a lot of things going on in the background here, so we apologize as far as not being out with you guys earlier, but we'll try to be making up for that tomorrow with several, well, I don't want to say how many. But anyway, dealing with some other issues. So thank you for listening in tonight. Yana, go ahead.
Yes, we're basically dealing with daily survival issues here, so apologize as well. And I wanted to just very quickly, briefly bring your attention to the reports. I posted them on Facebook. Many people didn't look at it. 5 people total. What a disappointment. But anyway, this is why I'm bringing it here. And I also want to point you to what I call our heroes, Donna Ashlie. I know she doesn't probably know me at all, but she is a hero these days. And so is Richie from Boston, RFB channel. Please watch him as well. He's bringing very good updates. And of course, let me just start with this one here. And we can tell you with Steve that this is true. We have talked with doctors, nurses that we cannot disclose their identity because they're not willing to. But this report here is a truthful report, so I just want to play it for you here. Watch it with us. Thank you.
Or you're breaking federal law. You can say there are COVID patients being admitted for COVID, but they're considered COVID until it's ruled out. Once they're ruled out, they don't say, oh, never mind, scratch that number. The number stays. You basically treat the patient as if they have it until you find out that they don't.
Hello YouTube family, it is me, Miss Dana Ashlie. Another YouTube channel called Defending Utah Radio uploaded an incredible video today. They had been approached by an ICU nurse who decided that she was ready to commit civil disobedience to come out and report what she has been seeing firsthand in her ICU. In her message, you will hear answers to questions such as, why are families and friends of emergency room workers suddenly completely quiet and not speaking out at all about what they are seeing in the hospitals? Questions like, how are exactly these deaths being classified inside the hospital, as well as what are some of the other ramifications of this shutdown that no other media is talking about? This video has been edited for the purpose of brevity, but you can go to the channel that originally posted it in the link in the description. I also went ahead and gave subtitles to this woman's voice because it has been altered. But do go to their channel because they say that they have more whistleblowers like this stepping up in the near future. And on that note, any of you who know anything about the truth of what's going on, please get in touch with me. I absolutely will protect your anonymity, and my only goal is to get the word out to the people. Furthermore, any of you who want to keep connected to me, please do see the link to my website in the description. Get me your email so that we can stay connected in case I do get taken down from YouTube, because as you know, that's what's going on now. All right, God bless you guys. I love you, and talk to you soon.
Brave medical whistleblowers have decided to come forward so that the public can know the truth.
Yeah, I have worked in the medical field for over 30 years, all in Utah, mostly intensive care, and in all areas of intensive care. Every time I'm there, basically every day something is changing. Some new policy, some new...
Is that a mandate, or is that coming from...
Mandates from the company that we as nurses need to follow.
Yeah.
And many of them don't make any medical sense. Every time I'm there, I find out something new, and it just blows my mind that such rational, educated people are acting in such an irrational way, and harm is being done. Care of patients, real quality care, nursing care and medical care of help the patients who have nothing to do with this COVID, who are there for, is being compromised. 100%.
Wow.
We all know it. All of the nurses, all the doctors know it. But our hands are tied. You speak reason and you try and reason, and basically what it is, do what you're told. Act, react. Don't stop and think about this logically. Just do. It is not based on sound medical logic. It's not. It's all what if. What if this is Ebola, multiplied by 100?
Right.
What if this is worse than any, and it's not. It honestly is not. And the epidemiologists and the experienced medical people who have medical background know this, but they are being silenced.
So you're saying that there's an environment in the hospital where everybody knows something's not right, and the pressure coming from the top, don't think, just react. Don't think, don't question too hard, because this is important, this is an emergency, what if? And so there's a sense of panic and urgency that is making otherwise professionals just throw logic out the window and follow orders. Is that right?
Absolutely. I think that's a great summary of what is happening. One thing that you need to understand about patients who expire in a hospital is that usually the doctor, there are many, many reasons why a patient that contributes to their death. Usually, in most cases, the doctors on the death certificate only put the main contributing factor. So if someone came in with brain cancer or a bleed or some kind of terminal thing, and then that led eventually to respiratory failure, and that's how they passed away. What gets put on the medical record is totally up to the doctor's discretion. And a lot of times they don't think about it until they're just filling out the certificate. And what people are not getting, which I know from this experience of having patients expire in the hospital a lot, is there is pressure right now in the medical community to, even if that patient has a positive, or if they don't, there are people who are rule out COVIDs right now, which is what the majority of the patients in Utah hospitals are right now. And I haven't followed around the country as much, but rule out COVID, you basically treat the patient as if they have it until you find out that they don't. And that is where the insanity is taking place, where a doctor who is overworked and trying to deal with multiple things at the time, you bring the death certificate of a person and say, hey, what do you want to put down as cause of death? And they have guidelines that they need to follow in that as well. But sometimes I don't think they're doing anything, sinister with it. But I do know that there is a push, and I don't know if it's coming from the administration or where it's coming from the World Health Organization, the CDC, I don't know, that if a patient dies, if they are COVID positive, you put COVID as the cause of death. I think that the HIPAA rules are being manipulated, are being used to the advantage of those who want to not disclose information that would actually make people more at ease and go, oh, this person was a brittle diabetic. Oh, they had obese, all these other things. There was a patient who passed away in a nursing home under hospice care, which means you're dying because they had I don't know how they ended up getting a COVID test. That's bizarre that you would do that on a hospice patient, but they would get a COVID test positive. That person didn't die of their terminal disease. They died of COVID. This is what is happening. That's the issue, is our hands are tied. We can't disclose this information to the media. We can't disclose this technically to anyone, or you're breaking federal law. So in there lies the problem as well. And people are saying, what are the facts? You're going, well, I cannot tell you. facts because under law I am required not to. It's a tough situation to try and wake people up because they want to hear exactly why you're saying what you're saying, but you can't tell.
Just in general, if it were not this situation and official guidance from the federal government said, do this, something that was really bad, under normal conditions, would their thinking side kick in and say, well, this violates my Hippocratic oath to do no harm? Would that normally be the culture?
Yeah.
Of we can't follow that no matter what the guidance says? And
absolutely, it would be. And I think, and the thing to remember is that each practitioner, even though that you have two entities that you're operating under, one is your own personal license, where you as a nurse have the right, and you as a physician have the right to say, I will not do what I'm being asked because it is doing harm. You have the legal right to refuse. But there's a different set of rules when you work for a facility or an entity. All preventative care at this moment is shut down. No one is getting preventative care. Dental, medical, and everything is geared around if you have an emergency. I did hear a conversation of two cardiologists basically saying there are probably a lot of people who are just staying home and having silent heart attacks in their home. They're experiencing symptoms, but they don't want to call an ambulance. They're not allowed to go into an Instacare, so they're just opting to stay home. This whole crisis, it's not even a crisis in my mind, but
manufactured crisis.
Yes, and the other issue is organ donation. I don't know if you've researched or looked into this at all, but donor services, they have been nearly completely shut down at this point in placing organs for the list.
So this is getting into what you're saying of how this is actually costing more lives because A, preventative care, and B, we're not doing, life-saving organ transplants.
Absolutely. It has been shut down, and these are beautiful, healthy organs. People could have used them.
All the hype that's going on about this, is it as dangerous as everybody's saying? What's the real data showing us?
This is where it's very difficult, and I don't know that anyone can get the true data. I think the true data is hidden. One factor of that is that the inconsistency of the testing. I was reading one night all of the patents that were being submitted for the different testing machines for approval, and they all did it in a completely different way. And as the lab worker said, you don't know for sure. You can't say 100% positive that if their test comes back. Some are being sent out to facilities. Some of them are done in facility, and every one of these are not uniform testing. So there you've got that issue. Then you've got that comorbidities are not being taken into account. They're not being reported. And then you can say there are COVID patients being admitted for COVID, but they're considered kind of COVID until it's ruled out. Once they're ruled out, they don't say, oh, never mind, scratch that number. The number stays. I can't tolerate the dishonesty and the lack of integrity and the giving in to the emotional side of it. We're acting as if everyone has end-stage AIDS. We have an immune system that is constantly being bombarded by invaders that our body just takes care of it and we don't skip a beat. They're treating every single staff member and patient as if they have no intact immune system. They're not facing it with rationality. There's no I don't hear anyone saying, hey, do this to strengthen your immune system. Get outside, get sunshine, eat healthy food. Any of your unhealthy habits, the stress. Here's the thing: stress is one of the top producing. When you produce cortisol in your body and you get this stress response, your immune system is weakened. The fear, I think it's fear of the unknown. It's taking advantage of uneducated people who do not understand how their bodies work and do not understand the physiology of the amazing immune response that your body produces. And they don't understand the basic concepts of freedom and liberty. This is the prime environment and situation for people to come in and take control. The population right now is prime to be subject to tyranny. And what can I do about it personally? I can do something like this.
All right. So here we want to also encourage, if you are a nurse and doctor and you don't mind telling the truth, if you are beyond that fear, if you want to be a hero in a different way, just as Dana Ashlie said, please contact us.
You can contact us at israelinewslive@gmail.com. Israel, like the word Israel with an I, Israeli newslive@gmail.com. We'll put the email address in there for you. Please note in the description, either you're a nurse or doctor, you're wanting to tell us about these things. You know, we've got friends that are doctors that we have talked to about this issue right when it was first coming out, and we have heard some horrifying stories already. So we'll be sharing those coming up soon anyway. But
yes,
please
but
write
these
us.
people do not want, they want to remain anonymous because they're afraid. They own medical facilities and private facilities, and they're afraid for their livelihood as doctors and licenses and stuff.
We can still keep the people anonymous that want to share this with us. If you can come on the program, we can do it this way. Or if it is, if you just want to write us anonymously and let us know what's going on from your side of the world, what you're seeing, please do. And even around the world, not just the United States, anywhere in the world that this is going on, please let us know if you're a medical professional and what you are witnessing firsthand yourself.
What is really difficult on those who are aware of what's going on is that we are fighting here on several levels. It's not only this truth that we are really at the point of no return. We had a small window of opportunity as humanity. However, as you can see, 99.9% of humanity is zombies, okay? And they bought the narrative. Problem is that those who are awake is not only that fighting against, the narrative and trying to tell you the truth, but we are fighting believers, fellow humans. Yes, we are fighting, against fellow believers who are completely blind and they bought into the narrative, and this is becoming very difficult fight. So you who are awake, talk to your friends, kind of see where they are, but we are at the point of no return as of now. Trump has handed power to the beast, and so did all presidents of all the governments. Okay, and we are never going to be the same. And
let me throw this thought in there as well. As Yana is saying, even many of the believers are getting bewitched because I guess if your mind is continually on CNN or Fox or any of the mainstream medias that are looking at this from the New World Order agenda, it's easy to just, if you pump your brain with this 24/7, to end up believing it. This is why we need medical professionals to reach out to us so that the viewers can hear the perspective from educated professionals that are telling you otherwise.
Yes, and if you go to RFB channel, as I wanted so many times to bring you as well some of the clips, but never got to it because we are here literally fighting for our own survival right now, and this is really getting to the point where I am kind of tired. But I want to tell you that Many doctors have come on. Richie from Boston played the clips. Okay, so please go. And as I told you, please check him out. He is telling the truth. And it's not that COVID-19 doesn't exist, it's the statistics, okay? And here, Humans Are Free brings you really good updates as well. With all that I'm recommending them, I want to tell you, please do not think I share their spiritual opinions or their beliefs or religious beliefs. They're definitely not Christians, and I am Christian. We are Christians. We believe in Jesus Christ, and pray right now and really strengthen your faith, because I believe you will be all going to be tried. Our faith is going to be tried very, very soon, and you will have to prove to yourself.
Title of the article here: Beyond the Point of No Return, COVID 1984 and the One World Government.
Okay, let me read it to you. Please sign up for them, because they're bringing you excellent updates. For example, hospitals separating newborn infants from mothers due to coronavirus fears. I don't know if you people understand what has been done to us, okay, in the name of this virus. But as I said, I'm fighting a lot of blind Christians, okay? So this is becoming really a problem. But anyway, Beyond the Point of No Return, COVID 1984 and the One World Government, New World Order officially has set in. I would like to read this to you, and then we will just end this today. The crazy thing about the COVID-19 crisis is how easy it is for the state and its media to frighten the public and manipulate ill-informed citizens into embracing economic and social decapitation. Blinded by scary headlines based on irrational speculation, subsequently revised downward and published on page C-23 of corporate newspapers demanding a bailout, the American people have embraced authoritarian measures supposedly imposed to win a battle against invisible enemy. Well, Steve, sounds familiar. This unending war on terror that we have fought since 9/11. Well, that's gone, isn't it? Isn't that interesting? It's not a problem anymore.
No.
That's just suddenly disappeared. All diseases disappear. Did you notice that? There is no problem with any diseases. Everything seems to be COVID-19, okay? That's the only thing we are worried about 24/7. Everything else kind of went away suddenly. How about like some other things, right, from past, like how about hole in the ozone layer? Do you remember that one, Steve?
Oh, yes.
Hole in the ozone layer. There was a hole in the ozone layer. Everybody was afraid. We all, people were buying sunscreens, putting ton of poisonous sunscreens on themselves. Well, that's gone, right? It's just
now
disappeared.
We have to have a new scare for the public.
Right. Well, they already know how human psyche works, and they are smarter than humans, right? They are smarter than humans. Unless you really do have discernment and Holy Spirit, you will be taken by this, and you will believe the narrative, and basically that's what's happening. It's very sad, but I'm coming to terms, that this is just reality. Okay, we are now beyond the point of no return. As I said, we had a little window of opportunity as humanity to really, truly, not violently, but just fight back to this psyop. But everybody just complied because people are easy to scare. A little virus, and that's it.
Right, we don't have the power of mainstream media.
No,
and
not enough.
Unfortunately, independent media is suppressed and not on the front pages of Google.
And soon we won't be here, because if you know this 201 event, it goes exactly by the plan. They're going to start turning against people like Richie and us and Dana and others. There's a lot of other heroes I have not mentioned. And they will just turn us off, persecute us, and mark us, and more and more people will just go to this narrative, and even people will turn against us. So they're already even if you will go back, that country will reopen. It's going to be under certain conditions, with a lot less liberties, and then you will be locked back down again, because they're already talking of the second pandemic. The inflicted economic and social damage has already taken a heavy toll, and it will get worse the longer health bureaucrats, state governors, and remarkably clueless president. No, he's not clueless. You know, people, he really knows what he's doing. It's just so easy to mark him clueless. Why would you want clueless president? What kind of leader is he? You know how many people, like pastors, they used to be friends. I don't want to name them now here, but the particular pastor tells us, well, Trump doesn't know anything.
Well, we found out from good source information that knows the president that he does know everything and what he's doing. He was well aware of this long before he even took the office of president. And we've got a special guest coming on later this week that's going to really sink that fact.
If there is still, YouTube.
Yes.
Okay, and a remarkably clueless president and his apart chicks demand we stay imprisoned in our homes, frightened of the bugs the state and its media have fictionally rendered as an insatiable and inescapable gorgon of doom. Let's see. In February 2020, World Health Organization, never known for its accuracy or consistency, declared a pandemic for the coronavirus and claimed that the mortality rate for the novel coronavirus disease, now designed as COVID-19, was 3.4%, while that for the seasonal flu was 0.1%. Of course, the news media ran with those numbers and splashed scary headlines across the world stating how much more deadly this new virus was than the seasonal flu. The problem with World Health Organization's statement, however, was that they applied two different formulas for the two viruses. For the COVID-19 disease, for example, they simply didn't count any of the mild cases of COVID-19 that resolved themselves, yet they did with the seasonal flu. If World Health Organization were to apply the same formula to seasonal flu cases as it did with COVID-19 cases, then the seasonal flu is revealed more truthfully as being twice as deadly as the COVID-19 virus. And guess what? If you watched Richie from Boston, he posted a letter that Tony Fauci sent to doctors in this magazine, I forgot the name, where he admitted that COVID-19 is a mild flu with 0.1% death rate. Okay? So, in other words, the globalist WHO, essentially a PR group for transnational big pharma and what should be considered the health industrial complex, is engaged in massive fraud. The COVID-19 aggrandizement and propaganda campaign is not simply a public relations scheme for big pharma and its highly dubious and often deadly vaccines. Okay? It also serves as a cover for authoritarian measures the ruling elite have schemed to put in place for decades, measures designed to monitor and control everything you do. Orwell's helicopters peering in bedroom windows in search of sex offenders, or drones in search of infected and suspected vaccine scofflaws are now a stark reality. Okay, 9/11 wasn't sufficient. The reach of that false flag event, fear quotient, and authoritarian measures were limited and ultimately muted. Please read the entire article. It is absolutely fascinating article because it speaks complete truth. It mentions here Henry Kissinger.
Which that's another important aspect, especially after we were told that Henry Kissinger is basically the man, as it states in here, he is steering us toward world totalitarianism. And yes, Trump removed from power, Henry Kissinger in the control seat with 6 other Rockefeller and Rothschild family members, making the decisions of what goes on in the United States as they destroy nationalism, as they destroy the United States, and bring us all down to be subservient to their globalist agenda.
Right, and Trump handed them power on March 13th. He was actually officially removed as commander-in-chief. He does not make any decisions. He's not going to help you. This is a form of torture when he starts promising opening the country and then it doesn't happen and doesn't happen.
And it didn't.
And it didn't. Remember how, well, a lot of people will say, well, he never promised it. Well, when you listen to him, you get this little hope, but then he gets killed immediately with something. And, this virus gets always smarter and smarter. Now he targets blacks and Latinos, right? What's next? How smart is the virus going to get? Whatever their agenda is. But anyway, we are going to talk more about it. There's so much more I want to show you, but I really wanted to show you this Dana's report, and we will post her link. And those who are completely awake and you know what's going on, please understand we are with you. We love you. We even love the blind ones. It's just that it's really difficult to fight this on so many levels. And at this point, we are working on our own spiritual connection to Jesus and getting ready we are getting ready with Steve to take our stand for Christ and for the truth. All right, Steve, to you now.
We'll be working these things together with you guys as well. As I've stated before, the gospel of Jesus Christ is the most important thing at this point. And we've really got to focus on the gospel. Especially at the hour we're living in. We are seeing biblical passages being fulfilled now more and more, but also the simplicity to walk with Jesus Christ and how to walk with him, how to commune with him, how to be one with him. This is so important, and it's so overlooked in this day that we're living in. So we will be back with you again tomorrow. Until then, God bless you, good evening, and we will talk to you then.